Make some noise if pain was what you used to change. Make it nice and loud. How many of you, it was more pleasure, like you saw a new example, a new possibility? Make some noise if that's what made it happen for you. Most people wait till they get enough pain to finally push off, but then some people never get enough pain, so they don't change. What I've learned to do is how to bring pain as like a friend. And this is not going to happen anymore. I'm not going to put up with this stuff. Set a new standard. But then often it's a new emotion that made it possible, or a new belief because I saw an example of someone else. That's the kind of thing that happens. But I can give you right now, for time's sake, I spent my whole life trying to take complex things and make them simple enough people actually do them. When I started my career, I made things more complex to prove to myself I was so smart. What an idiot, right? But that's what most of us do. But I learned something early on. You might want to write this phrase down. I started realizing complexity is the enemy of execution. I'll say it again. Complexity is the enemy of execution. Most people don't do things because they make it so complex in their mind, right? And it's so complex in their mind, it's like, oh, I can't even start. You know, it's like, oh, I'm going to work out. Oh, that's too much. Trying to work out, man, I have to go find a place, and I'm going to have to go interview the people, and then I got to go, go try out their machines, and then they're going to have to explain to me and sell me a pitch for 6 months or years with this damn thing, and then I got to go work out, and then I got to sweat, and I got to take a shower, and then I got to get cleaned up, and I got to fix my hair, and then I got to, get the things so I get my parking validated, and I got to drive away. That's how they chunk working out. What does it take to eat? They go, you just go eat. Right? So many things we don't do because of the way we chunk it in our heads. How many follow what I'm talking about here? Say I. So what I want to give you is a shortcut here. If you want to create a breakthrough, you don't just want to learn something. You want to create a real change. There's 3 things you need. They all start with S. Now I'm going to give them to you real fast in reverse order. Meaning I'm going to start with the least important one. Well, why would I do that if it's the least important? Because it's the one everybody looks for. So what's the first thing? When things aren't the way you want, your body's not where you want, your relationship's not there, your income's not there, the first thing most people look for is a strategy. Well, we can think of strategy as how. Like, how do I do this? And most people think whatever the strategy is, they make it more complex than it really is. That's why they don't do anything with it. Or they say, I don't know how to do this. Write down this phrase: never let the tyranny of how stop you. Never let the tyranny of how stop me. See, I realized years ago, I don't know if you've ever done this, I set this big goal, I'm going to go do this, and I'm all excited. And then my brain would go, who are you kidding? Right? Who knows what I'm talking? Who's done this? Make some noise if you've done this in your own life, right? Right? And the reason is because your brain goes, I don't know how to do this. I've never done it before. And so the problem with starting with how or strategy is it feels like I don't know what to do, so we don't do anything. Or it feels so complex because we don't understand it because we've never done it before. When you talk about doing something you've never done before, starting a business, growing, whatever, I don't know where to start. I don't know what to do. I'll have to go find that strategy. Even if you get the strategy, if that's all you get, you will not succeed. One of the reasons we built what we do here in our company to help people is we understood people need the best strategies. But if you don't change the other 2 things, they won't follow through. And this is why I have so much success in our lives for the people we've helped. So think of a strategy like most people from all over the world. We have people from 100 countries. But in America, we're the fastest we've ever been. 2/3 of America is overweight, 2/3. In fact, the fastest growing group in America, weight-wise, is people over 100 pounds overweight. That's the fastest growing group in America. And it's even more for men than women today, to give you an idea. It's insane. And by the way, what we've done, we're spreading around the world. You're seeing this all over the world now. Not as bad as America, but all around the world. Now, why am I telling you this? Well, to have that many people be that overweight, and people say they want to feel good. They say they want to be fit. They want to be strong. Are they not fit because they can't figure out the strategy? Because the strategy of being fit or strong or energetic is so complex that only the most intelligent people on earth can figure this out. No. Is it because it's so expensive to get your body in shape? No. Is it because only those who have the key secrets can get there? No. In fact, it's hard to miss the stuff that could change your body. It's everywhere, isn't it? I mean, how close to your home is a place where someone could train you and work you out at a gym? Most people within 5 or 10 miles, right? Max, right? So we better drive there, right? So, but think about this just for a second. Think about how silly this is. Or you could get a trainer, or if you have no money, you can download 1 million programs right off the web, free programs, or you could download a book onto your iPad to guide you. Is there any lack of strategy on how to be fit and strong? Yes or no? Give me a, hell no. It's so easy, but we don't do it because it's not the strategy usually. No, don't get me wrong. Sometimes people have the wrong strategy. If you're trying to start your own business and you don't know the things that we know because we spent 6 years between us, then yeah, you're probably going to make a lot of mistakes and you could go out of business. Most businesses don't make it. But if you know what to do, you can save yourself enormous time, enormous energy. But even with the right strategy, we found that's not enough. The real problem is you have a story if you're not getting what you want. A story, a limiting story. Like people say, I'm overweight because I'm big boned. That's what I used to say. I'm big boned. That's why I'm 38 pounds heavier. Now that was, 40 years ago, and I've never gained the weight back. I have the same bones, right? But that's what I told myself, right? It's like, I've tried everything. That's what people say. That's their story. And I say, no, if you tried everything, you'd be fit and healthy and strong. I've tried millions of approaches and none have worked. Millions? Name them. Well, I've tried thousands, name them. Well, I've tried hundreds, name them. Well, I did do these 3 stupid things that don't work over and over again. How many follow here? Make some noise if you follow me on this, ladies and gentlemen. So the story is what gets in the way of even finding the strategy. In fact, have you ever been with somebody? I'll give you an example from my youth. I remember I was sitting down or having a meal and I'm starving and my mom says to me, "Hey, could you get me the salt?" And I'm just having my first bites of food. I'm just a kid. I'm like, I don't know where the salt is. I'm not lying. I don't know the exact GPS location of the salt, right? She goes, you know where it is. It's in the kitchen. Go get me the salt. But I don't know. Go get me the salt. And what am I saying? I don't know where the salt is. I don't know where the salt is. I don't know where the salt is. I look around, open the cover, look up and down. It's not here. My mom says, it's on the second shelf. I don't know where the salt is. I'm saying, I don't know where the salt is. It's not here. She walks over right in front of my face and goes, what is this? Who's had one of these experiences knows what I'm talking about. Make some noise if you know what I'm talking about. All right? So when we have a limiting belief, it creates what's called a scotoma in psychology, a blind spot. Have you ever been with somebody, they said they want your help, and you start to try to help them, and then they get mad at you? That's not going to work. It's because their story controls them. There's an old phrase that says, if you tell a lie big enough, long enough, loud enough to enough people, sooner or later people believe you. You know who said that? Goebbels, Hitler's guy who created propaganda. Hitler's idea. Now, most of us are Hitler to ourselves. We tell ourselves like, yeah, but I don't have the time. The biggest thing I used to tell myself, I don't have time. You know what I do with people on time now? I don't have time for my business. I don't have time to start something. I don't have time for anything. I know you're busy, but then I say, can I borrow your phone? People look at me kind of funny, and if you have like an Apple phone especially, you can search down, and it shows how much time you spend on social media this day and this week and this month. Here's the numbers. Throw them up for people. These are the average. Most people check their phones an average of 58 times a day, glancing at their phone, and they spend an average of 2.5 hours a day on social media. That's 16 hours a week. That's 67 hours a month. And if you're not spending 2.5 hours, someone else is spending more, right? That's what's so crazy. You can start multiple companies on that kind of number of hours. How many follow me on this? Say aye. But when your story is, I don't have the time, or I don't have the money, or I have nothing to share, that's all the things that keep people. It's the limiting story. Now, you can show them the best strategy on earth, they're not going to do it. They're going to, maybe, it's like people buy a book and they never read it. It looks good on their shelf. The book has the answers, but their story is, I'm so busy, I don't have time for this now, right? Or I'll read it later. But the real secret to changing your life is the first S, and that is the state you're in. The mental, emotional state. And this has been my expertise over the decades. What I realized was that the state I'm in controls everything. It controls my story. Have you ever been really pissed off at somebody and you're so angry that suddenly in that moment you remember everything they've ever done that ever pissed you off? Make some noise if you know what I'm talking about. Come on, if you know what I'm talking about there, ladies and gentlemen, right? Or if you're totally in love, what happens when you're in a state of total love? Who here has ever fell head over heels in love, out of your mind in love? Make some noise. Some of you look on your face, looks like it's been a while. Now, do me a favor, just for fun. Make the sound, I know it sounds weird, make the sound you make if you're totally in love, a sound that represents that. Go, make a sound of it, go ahead. Some of you, it's been a while. Let's try that again. How about if you're totally in love and in lust? You can't stop thinking about the person, you want to be with them, you want to make love to them, make that sound, go. That was much better. That was louder and it lasted longer. That's a good sign, right? So, but if you're totally in love with someone, what will you do for them? What will you do? Anything, right? It's not a trade. Well, if you do this, then I'll do that. When you get in a relationship and it starts being a trade, you're out of state. Now it's a transaction. That relationship's going down. But if you're totally in love with somebody and they go, could you take out the trash? You go, take out the trash? Of course. Do. Whatever I can do for you. What else can I do? Right? How many know what I'm talking about here? Right? What else can I do for you? Right? But after 7 days, or 7 weeks, or 7 months, or 7 years, or 70 years, somewhere between 7 hours and 70 years, your brain goes, you go, can you take out the trash? What do I look like, your janitor? I don't know what it was. You used to have so much passion. Where did it go? Your state controls your story. Your story controls whether you actually find the strategy, much less use it. Even if you have a great state of mind and you feel strong and you're driven, you know how to put yourself in that place, which is what we do, train people to do, and you come up with a true story of what's possible, and you have the right strategies, and you got a guide, you're going to win. How many follow this? Say aye. So anything in the future you want to create a breakthrough in, don't start with a strategy, because if you've never done it before, you don't know how, and you go, oh, it won't work. Start with your state, and then you'll come up. Because by the way, when you're in love, what's wrong with life? What's wrong? Nothing. We have no money. Doesn't matter. We're in love, right? Your state controls your story, and your story determines whether you find or create the strategy, and that determines your results. So how many think you could use this in your own life? How many got an area where it might be good to change your state and your story, right? Right? And certainly you want to do that around, if you're going to start a business, listen, I can teach you the best strategies. Between Dean and I, we know them. It's not like we're so smart. It's just we got 76 years between us, and we've become the best in the industry in the world, literally in the world. I know that sounds very humble, but it's the truth, right? Who else does events of our size and scope? No one. But it's because we figured a way to add more what? Value, do more for others than anybody else. That's the only way you really become successful. But you can start with anything. You can start with some mess you got that becomes your message, some problem you had. Or you can start like I did, be like a reporter, where I went and interviewed other people and I figured out what do they do, and then I shared what I learned from them. I wrote a little book about it, and I self-published initially. Today, though, I mean, with AI, it's ridiculous. I don't mean ChatGPT where it makes shit up all the time. It's horrible. I remember one time I went on ChatGPT not long ago when I was there, and I was like, oh, well, my team was going to put together a new list of quotes from, leaders that have endorsed my work, and from Oprah Winfrey to, the best business people on the face of the earth. And so I said, well, make a list of people that endorsed Tony Robbins, and made this huge list. And one of them was Elon Musk, and I was like, I've never really worked with Elon. Wow, maybe because sometimes I don't work with people directly; they learn my work. And then I found out it was totally made up. It made up a quote from Elon. It's like, I can't have that kind of crap. So you need a closed unit. It can't just be the general piece, and that's what we built. Now, to finish up, gosh, I'm almost out of time here. I think I told you what changes your life is not information, right? What creates a breakthrough is decision. Now, how do you know if it's a decision? You get yourself to act on it right away. If you make a decision, you don't act on it, you make a decision in the moment, but it doesn't follow through. It's like you got to decide and you got to commit to do something while you're in state, while you're feeling strong. If you don't do it, you'll say you're going to do it, later on you'll drift off. So let's make a couple decisions. And to do this, though, let's get in a strong state. Would you stand back up just for a second? Stand back up just for a second. Shake your body out. We're going to wrap up in a second. I'm going to bring you back to Dean, but I want to do one thing with you first. I'm going to show you how to, first of all, a couple of the quick decisions. I'm going to show you who's ever gotten stuck. Like it feels like, man, I just can't get myself to do this. Who's been in that place or stuck in a mad place? So we're going to do two things. We're going to answer a couple questions from peak state, make a couple decisions, and then I'm going to take you through this little 6-minute process of how to get unstuck, okay? So first, shake your body out. Make a move that makes you feel strong. Make a move. Do something with your body that makes you strong. Wake that body up out there, ladies and gentlemen. Wake it up again just for a second. Wake that body up. Wake it up. Wake it up. There's so much. Yes. All right, shake your body out, feeling nice and strong. And I know you're standing, but if you have a pen and paper, you can do this. Or first, you can just do it in your mind, and then we can write it on your computer if you want. Stand nice and strong. Say yes. Say yes. Say yes. Notice how it feels when you say yes. Feels pretty strong. Now, say no and see how it feels. Say no. Say no. Say yes. Say yes. Say yes. Which one feels better, yes or no? No feels like you're burping, right? But most of us have been trained to say no. You walk into a clothing store and someone says, "Can I help you?" What do you say? "No, I'm just looking." "No shit, you're looking. What do you want?" Right? So I want you in that kind of yes state to do this. I want you right now to think of one decision around your career, around your income, around starting a business, around whatever it is you want. And I want you to decide something you want to achieve in the next 6 to 12 months, 18 months max. It could be a certain amount of money you want to earn. It could be having a certain number of clients. It could be starting a business and starting to grow it. Any target you want. But I want to pick something that feels strong and would excite you. Now, not something like, I'm going to make $1 billion and you haven't made $1 million, right? Might want to start a little less. But in the next 6, 12, 18 months, if you really focused and you had a great coach and you had great tools that could accelerate things massively, what would you ideally achieve? Would you have a business on the side here that produced a certain amount of income? Would you do something full time and you'd be excited about it? Who would you touch? What kind of impact would you have? Just think what that is. How many can think of a goal that would excite you, that you know if you worked your tail off would be achievable and would excite you? Raise your hand if you got one you can think of. Okay? Stay standing if you would. Write it down or type it down on your computer, but I want you to stay standing because you're staying in a strong place. So just write it down. What's that goal for your business? Something you want to achieve, something you want to accomplish in the next 6, 12, or 18 months? Something that would excite you. Something that would get you up early and keep you up late for that. Like my teacher, Jim Rohn, used to say, your goals affect you, whatever they are. If your goal is to just get by, that's all you're going to do. If your goal is to transform your kids' lives, that's different. Your goal is to make X amount of money. Whatever it is, it affects you. So let's come up with one that excites you. One that's truly achievable if you busted your tail, but also would excite you. You'd feel proud of yourself. You'd feel grateful. And then I want you to put the second thing I want you to do is write down, why is it a must for you? Because most people set a goal and it's a should. Like, I'd like to do this. I want to do this. But as Jim Rohn taught me, everybody gets what they have to have. Why is this a have to for you? Why is it a must for you? If you achieve this in the next 6, 12, 18 months, how will it change your life? How much more freedom would you have? How much more joy? How much autonomy to do things your way? What would you be able to do for your friends or your kids or your family? What would be fun? What would you be proud of? Why is it a must for you to follow through, not just a should for you to get this goal? One thing my teacher Jim Rohn taught me years ago is that reasons come first, answers come second. If you get strong enough reasons to do anything, then you can get yourself to figure out how to do it. You need a big enough why and you'll figure out how. And then the third question real quick is this, like, what's kept you from changing or doing this in the past? What's held you back? Has it been a limiting belief? Has it been a bad habit? Has it been just putting it off, procrastinating? And what do you need to change right now? What's kept you from doing this in the past? What belief, what old habit, what limit? What needs to change right now? What needs to change now? That if you changed it, you get new momentum. All right? New momentum, be fantastic. You feel great. Feel that. And once you got what happened that stopped you and what you're going to do different, then write down the last step. I know I'm doing this fast. What's one or two actions you could take right away, like today, tomorrow, this week, tonight, that would start moving you forward? Because remember I said if you make a decision, you set a goal, while you're in the state, you got to do something that commits you to follow through. Is there someone you can call? Is there a meeting you could set? Is there a class you can enroll in? Is there a friend you need to sit down with? Like, what's something you could do right away that would be just a small step, but by doing it, it means you're on the path. Your brain knows you mean it. I'm going to make this happen. Is it brainstorming the start of your company? What is it? What is that one or two things to get you going? Just to get going, get some initial momentum. You know, I often tell people, we've all seen the rich get richer and the poor get poorer. And I don't just mean money. Do you ever notice that happy people tend to get more happy, angry people get more angry, sad people get more sad? That's called momentum. You change your momentum, and what's hard to do is easy. All right? How many of you got a good goal? You know why it's a must for you? You know what needs to change? You got some good actions. Make some noise if you got that. Good. We got about another 30 seconds. Keep it going, and make it feel good in your body. Make it feel strong in your body when you think about it. And then think about that goal and what it's going to be like. Think about what you'll be able to achieve in 6, 12, 18 months. Think about how that's going to feel. Now think about how it's going to feel even taking this initial action to get it going. And just about 20 more seconds, and then we're going to, just in our bodies, we're going to train our nervous system, going to celebrate like it already happened. I know it sounds silly, but that's how you connect your brain to go, I really want this. All right? Finish up. And then when I say now, we're going to go 3, 2, 1, and I want you out loud, celebrate. I want you to imagine you achieved this. It's even better than you imagined, and you're celebrating like it's already done. Ready? 3, 2, 1, celebrate your body like you just achieved this thing, ladies and gentlemen. Come on, celebrate your body.